Hello, welcome to another edition of Soulful Saturday. I am your host, Jima Hill Cook of Kim G Counseling and Consulting, as well as the author of Reflections, What I Know to Be True. You can purchase that off my website at www.kimg4thesoul.com. That's www.kimg4thesoul.com. I would love for you to purchase that and tell me what you think about that as well. I am so glad to be here on today as we are delving into another wonderful topic. Thank you so much for all of your responses from last week. It seemed to have resonated with a lot of you all about what it means to practice self-care and learning how to be intentional in how we do that. Sometimes we forget that we are just as important to ourselves as we are to all the other people around us. So thank you so much for your feedback. Continue to email me your comments, your questions, even topics you might want me to come up with. So email me at Jima, that's Jema, at kimg4thesoul.com. That's Jima, Jema, at kimg4thesoul.com. So here we are today, another beautiful day on today, and I am so thankful to be here to share with you just a little bit about our topic for today. I promise you I won't be with you long today because it's Saturday and you probably have a whole lot of other things to do. But while you're out shopping, you're listening to me. While you're just sitting, waiting for the car to get washed, maybe you pop me in and listen. So I thank you for wherever you are, and share, like my page on YouTube, and share this so that other people can be just as inspired as you are. So today I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about boundaries. Dun, 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 dun. You know, that word that we say some things about, but we don't really know how to set them. So today I'm going to give you just a few pointers on I'm going to define boundary for you, and then what are they and why are they important? Why is it necessary to have boundaries? I am so glad you asked. I just love when you guys ask me these types of questions, right? So what is a boundary? I'm going to give you a simple definition of what a boundary is. And then I want you to figure out, how does that relate to me? How do I have this sort of thing in my life? Okay, so what is a boundary? A simple definition is that it's a personal rule or limit to what someone can do, what is acceptable to you, that is in a safe and healthy relationship. Okay, those are a few words in there that I always like to define. When you're defining a word, sometimes the other words in the definition need to be defined as well. So what you have to do is say, okay, what is healthy for me? What does a healthy relationship look like to me? What is safe for me? Defining what these words are to you will help you set your boundaries. Your boundaries should also be connected to what you value, right? What you deem to be important, what you believe in. Your boundaries should also be a place that protects you not only physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. Those are the things that we have to consider when we're talking about setting a boundary. Okay, so we've defined what a boundary is. It is a thing that helps you decide what is acceptable, or rule, or a limit. So we know we have physical boundaries, right? We have, you know, as they call it, those lines that you cannot cross. We have that space. Some of us don't mind people being close in our space. Some of us need a little bit of distance. You know, for some, during COVID, the whole 6-foot rule was difficult because they're so used to people being close to them. So they couldn't understand why I can't hug somebody, right? So you have some that line is very broad in terms of the physical space. And you have to know what that is. Now, unfortunately, for some of us, we've never had the luxury of having that type of space, or that space was violated at a very early age. And so we don't even really know how to have boundaries because we were never taught. One thing I want to say, and I hope you get this throughout all the things that I ever talk about, is it's difficult to know how to do something if you've never been taught how to do it. And we sometimes put an enormous amount of pressure on ourselves to do something that we haven't been taught how to do, that we don't know how to do. And it's actually okay not to know how to do something, right? It's okay to be taught how to do something. So hopefully in what you're going to get out of some of these Soulful Saturdays is tools on how to do the thing that you've never known how to do. So how do you set a boundary? Well, you define who you are first. Knowing who you are and what is allowable and what's not allowable is important in setting boundaries. What's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So there are certain things that one cannot say around me, certain words. And the first time you say it is the first time I tell you that it's not okay. So the one thing about you want to do with a boundary is you set it at the beginning of an issue so that the person knows that's not okay to do. Because if you wait, then they're going to think that that behavior is okay. And a lot of times we don't set boundaries because we don't want to offend people. We don't want people to get mad at us. We don't want people to not like us. So we don't set that boundary because we want to keep them around. Well, in keeping them around, you're also not making good choices for yourself, and you're definitely not practicing good self-care, right? So it's all connected. It ends up in there some kind of way together. So you have to know who you are. You have to understand that you have to say something on the front end, not the back end of when somebody is doing something to you or someone has said something to you that might be offensive. You have to say that in the beginning. So one of the things about boundaries is that we acknowledge when something happens that we're not okay with, and we let the person know. The second part of that is, how do you hold that person accountable to what you said was a boundary? That's your responsibility. It's not theirs, right? So if I've told you not to do something and you continue to do it, then it's my responsibility to decide how I'm going to continue to interact with you. Or if I'm not going to continue to interact with you, because that could be the consequence of you disrespecting my boundary. So if I've told you not to say certain words in front of me, if I've told you not to do certain things in front of me, and you continue to do it, you've already told me that you, A, don't respect what I have to say because you're going to do what you want to do. Well, then I now have to decide, how am I going to interact with you? And that may mean I'm not going to interact with you. So the natural, logical consequence of you violating my boundary is that you don't get to have access to me anymore. Okay, let's sit in that for a minute, okay? That might be hard to hear. That might be hard to understand. But we do have the power to limit people's access to us when they're not doing right by us. We don't have to stay in their company, right? We don't have to allow them to continue to have a front row seat to our world. I often say that the star of the show is the main attraction. And we've given people access to be the star of our show when we are the star of our show. I'm the prize, right? And so if you know you're the prize, then it's easy to set the boundaries that you have to set with people, okay? So that is the other thing. When you're talking about setting boundaries, it's really about what makes you you, and what are the things you believe in and value, because that is going to help you set those boundaries with the people, situations, circumstances, and they come in so many different ways. You have boundaries at work, you have boundaries with your family, you have boundaries with your friends, and you know who else you have a boundary with? Yourself. You have to have some boundaries with yourself too. What am I not going to do to me, right? Because whatever I do to me, it gives the other person permission to do it to me as well. So I don't talk bad about Jima. I lift Jima up every single chance I get. So that anybody that's in my circle, they know, oh no, you can't come to her that way, because she's going to correct you, because that's just who I am, right? So I want you to get into the habit of protecting not only your physical boundaries, your physical space, but your emotional. How do people talk to you? How do they interact with you? What's said in your presence? Do people think they can say and do anything around you because you won't say anything because you want to keep the peace? But is keeping the peace peaceful for you? Who is it peaceful for, right? This goes back to self-care. It goes back to being self-full, right? It goes back to making sure that your cup is full, right? And I can't have a full cup if I'm allowing you to come and just throw anything at me that you want to throw at me. Because that's not going to fill me. That's putting water in a bucket with some holes in it, okay? So understanding that boundaries, they keep us safe, right? They keep us connected to ourselves, to who we say we are, and it helps us become the person that we want to become. And so I ask you, why are they important? And they are important because it settles us. It keeps us grounded. It reminds us on a day-to-day basis why something is important. A boundary, whether it's physical, because we know you have property lines, people can't just go building stuff. And we're so good at physical boundaries, because let somebody mow your lawn that you didn't ask to mow your lawn. Let somebody build something on your property line let somebody park in your parking spot. Okay, let's talk about that. And those sorts of boundaries. But when it comes to our emotional boundaries, we're a little bit loose in those, right? We get a little bit, oh, it's okay, they didn't really mean it, and we make up all kind of excuses for people. I want us to begin to not do that, to set your boundary, to hold the people accountable to what they do and don't do to you, because that is what you have control over. You have control over that and how you respond or not respond. And sometimes your not response is a response. So we have to let people know what is okay, what is tolerated, what is acceptable, because I am creating on a daily basis a safe, healthy environment for me, so that all my relationships that I have can grow and to be the best that they want to be for themselves. So I'm going to help you. My whole goal in these Soulful Saturdays is to help you, to help you heal from the inside out, to help you recognize the value that you have, the importance that you are, not only to all those people we talked about last week on our plates, but you are as important to yourself. And I want you to walk in that. So let's learn the importance of boundaries, why we have them, why they're important, and why we must hold people accountable when they violate those boundaries, okay? So as we close out today, thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate you. I adore you. And I am so thankful that you have joined me on these Soulful Saturdays as we delve into so many topics. Remember to reach out to me via email at Gima@KimGfortheSoul.com. That's Gima@KimGfortheSoul.com. Pick up my book on my website, the same, at www.KimGfortheSoul.com. That's Kimg, the number 4, for the soul.com. Pick up my book, Reflections, What I Know to Be True. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you. Share, like my page, leave me some comments, do all the things. I thank you. I adore you. I appreciate you. Until we meet again, let's enjoy another Soulful Saturday.